Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain Free You. Today's topic is going to be imaginary future events, and I'll get to that in a second. Take a couple of nice relaxing breaths, breathe in the peace, breathe out the stress, breathe out the possibility. Exhale the despair. Breathe in the knowledge. Exhale the uncertainty. All right, so imaginary future events. What the heck am I talking about? Well, a lot of folks in the chronic pain world, in the TMS world, a very, very, very common question is, what if, what if, what if? What if this, what if that, what if that? What if I never get better? What if it gets worse? What if it moves? What if? And we become very afraid. You know, originally many of us were feeling, I got a busted up, broken body. I'm never going to get better. And we hear about this TMS thing. And then we become afraid of our brain and our thoughts and our subconscious and our emotions. And we decide that, well, I must have a mental problem or an emotional problem. And I've had all sorts of trauma, or I've always been anxious, so therefore I'm never going to get better. We start to imagine this future event called a lifetime of suffering and despair and getting old with pain and suffering. And I will tell you this. Those are some of those thoughts that I always say. They're certainly not helpful, but inevitably, they're also not true, right? I recently had a coaching client, and she was so full of despair over this imaginary future life of hers. She was desperately afraid of aging, and this is not to call anybody out. I will not mention her by name. But she was so afraid that aging was going to mean lots of pain in her life. And what I pointed out to her was that is not happening right now. This person was 55 years old, which is exactly how old I am. And she didn't have a lot of challenges. She had some TMS, but not real horrible, not disabling. She was still able to lead a life. But she was so, I'll say, obsessed with this future, horrible future vision that she had, and very concerned about aging. And I told her somewhat of what I told my mom once. You know, my mom had a brain aneurysm 15 years ago. She had to go for brain surgery, and it was a really tough surgery, really tough recovery. She had, 6-7 weeks of complications afterwards, and she still gets some strange migraines and some visual auras, and she'll even at sometimes when she gets these migraines, she'll lose the ability to find words and think properly. It scares the crap out of her. I guess she's always got this inner fear that one day she's just going to drop dead, right? Horrible thoughts. I understand it. I see why that could be a fear. But I finally told her, I said, Mom, you're 84. You might live another 10 years. Do you really want to spend the next 10 years of your life walking around afraid that you're going to die in 5 minutes? I said, if you got 10 years left, you're going to completely miss it because you're going to be walking around in a panic that 5 minutes from now you're going to drop dead. And she said it kind of really shook her out of it. And so now every time she starts to think about the what if this happens, she kind of says, if my number is up, my number's up. I can't do anything about it. And so she's learned to stay more in the present moment, in the now. She's not living in this future imaginary event that's not even happening, right? So anxiety is exerting caution or being fearful or thinking about future imaginary events that are not even happening in the present. And many of us can get caught up in these anxious thoughts and these catastrophic thoughts and these fearful thoughts of the what if. And I will tell you, awareness that you're doing this is the first step. Because you're not going to be able to gently shift your attention back to the present moment and say, you know what, those future thoughts and future worries, they're not happening now. Let me enjoy what's going on now. Let me enjoy the present moment and breathe and smile and realize that in the present moment, I'm safe. I'm all right. And even if we have symptoms, we're sore but safe. And so, if you are spending a lot of time imagining the future in a way that looks at a horrible future, I will tell you, you're not doing yourself any favors. All those future worries do is trade your present day possibility for joy and happiness for some future imaginary event that's not even happening. So notice that. Become aware of your mental state. And if you are in this future catastrophic thinking, pull yourself out and remind yourself, that's not happening. There's no reason that will happen. And therefore I'm going to choose, and it is a choice, not to ruminate and repeat that thought over and over and over again. Because again, all that does is stress you the heck out, keep you in that fight or flight response, keep you in the fear response. If you're trying to teach your brain that you're safe, so that the brain and thereby the nervous system can calm down and turn off the symptoms that you're listening to my videos for, absolutely those fearful, catastrophic what-if thoughts are not the way out. All they will do is guarantee that you're going to stay stressed out, fearful, and your brain, because you keep scaring the crap out of yourself, is not going to calm down. And when the brain remains hypervigilant, so does the nervous system. And it's not very likely that your symptoms are going to calm down while you are in that state, that mental state. And so it's really important to notice, to become aware of the fact that you're actually doing this, and then make a decision to say, I don't have to believe those thoughts. Remind yourself, that's not happening now, so I'm going to choose not to linger or ruminate on those thoughts. We can literally just watch the thought go by and then wait for a better one. Or gently shift our attention to gratitude. Or what emotion's going on. Maybe there's something going on emotionally that's kind of triggering this feeling and this train of thoughts that's leading towards, that worrisome type of thinking. So, don't take your thinking so seriously. Inevitably, a lot of our thinking is not true. A lot of our thinking is not helpful. And so don't ruminate and repeat and linger on those negative thoughts. You want to linger on some thoughts? Linger about the good stuff. So, love you guys and gals. I appreciate you. And don't time travel into the future. If you do, visualize a great future where you're feeling fantastic. Because I will tell you this, there is life after chronic pain, and it's wonderful. In my early 30s, I had chronic pain. I feel better now at 55 than I did back then. And if you would have asked me back then, what am I going to be like at 55, I probably would have predicted, with this future-based worrisome thinking, I'm probably going to be in a wheelchair. If I feel this way now in my 30s, man, I'm going to have a horrible future. But you know what? I feel better now than I did 20 years ago. So, you can too, right? So I love you guys and gals. Stay out of the future-based fear thinking. It's not helpful. It's not going to help you get better. It's just going to freak you out. So, We'll talk to you tomorrow.